What's up, everybody? It's your favorite last member of the Combiner's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Iron Factory Spirits of the DEC IFEX35 Merak. You see why I don't call them by their third-party names? We'd be here all day, but everybody gets one. This is on loan to me from Robert D. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to take a look at this guy. He sent me all the other ones so we can do the combine mode as well. So it's just a DJD kind of week. That being said, in order to really take a look at this guy, you know where we need to start: accessories. And honestly, he doesn't come with much. He comes with 4 hands, 2 left and 2 right, posing and holding hands, as well as the 2 fist hands that you saw in the opening footage. And that's it. So let's talk about the figure. We have these 2 armatures. I guess they kind of count as accessories, but to me, they're more so kind of part of the integration of the character. So you can take them off. So I don't know. It's up for debate, I suppose, but we'll go ahead and talk about them. So they hinge here at the base of the shoulders to get down and forward. Then they come out to a silver painted piece to a ball joint. You can then connect the armature to the ball joint, which then can swivel at the ball joint, as well as an additional hinge moving forward. It can swivel on a ball joint. I didn't even realize that was a ball joint. It was so tight. At the claw, and then all the claw's fingers are hinged at the base knuckle. Same for this side. All of the silver is painted. We have this bit behind him, and I mean, it's supposed to just sit like that, right? But if you wanted to, for a picture or something, bring it up and kind of articulate it as like a rocket launcher over his head, you can. And we have pink and silver paint on that. For the head, it is nicely done. It's on a ball peg. You get up to there. You get down to there. You get left and right. The red translucent is maybe a little too dark because you can't really see what's going on behind it. That's going to be a tricky thing to be successful regardless of who does it. I'm just pointing it out. You have some beige accents on the head, you have some silver paint, and then the red paint on the eyes. You also get a swivel at the ball peg, obviously. So for the shoulders, we have this gunmetal paint here. You have a hinge on the shoulder, and these armatures kind of get in the way, but you can get it out to about there. For a big, bulky character like this, that sort of limitation doesn't bother me. Like these big, lumbering, sort of monstrous characters, I'm okay with them having limited articulation, much like the Hulk. So then you have the swivel here as well, and you have the butterfly. It's not really a butterfly joint, it's the same universal, but it's like a hinge that kind of acts as a reverse butterfly because of the way it's engineered. You have a swivel at the bicep. You have a single hinged elbow that gets you 90 degrees. You have some paint accents along the arm, gunmetals and silvers, and I believe this pink, but I could be wrong about that. And a swivel at the wrist with red paint on the hands. For the chest, it's the same on the other side, by the way, and you have all these accents here: silver, pink, etc., or gunmetal and then pink. For the chest, we have the gunmetal accents as well as the pink inside for the light up bits. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me see if I can add a little light on the subject for you. Does that work a little better? I don't know. There. I feel like that's a bit better. It looks good. It's very reminiscent of the comic. You have a swivel at the waist as well as an ab crunch that gets you almost all the way over. You have the hip flaps, or hip skirts. They'll raise up. You have a little bit of beige or mustard kind of paint on that as well. Looks good. To reveal universals for hips, they are soft ratcheted and super tight, and the range is not great on them, but it should provide everything you want, in my opinion. Then you have forward and back, also on a soft ratchet that feels a little inconsistent to me. No, maybe it's a bit better than I thought. This one maybe feels a little inconsistent. Then we have the gunmetal silver on the hips. We have a thigh swivel, another tight joint. Gunmetal paint and red paint down here on the lower legs. You have a knee, single hinge that gets you 90 degrees, so I think that's fine. You have no ankle anything, but you do get a toe tilt that acts as such, and nothing really up, but it will swivel to get you a bit of a rocker. So a little limited in that area, and then we have this, which you can use to kind of support the foot for balance as like a heel spur. It's not really its intent, well, I guess it is to an extent, but I've noticed that a lot of these that hinge down, you can use if you have them in sort of an awkward pose. It's tight as well, to kind of give you a little bit of extra stabilization. And then there he is from the back, and I mean, for all intents and purposes, or iridescent porpoises, I think it's pretty clean. And size comparison wise, there he is with the team. And I think he fits perfectly. It's like it really, really looks great together. Like they're really well done. Like kudos to Iron Factory. Like that's a good looking, sharp looking set of DJD figures in a legend scale. Well done. So let's get them transformed. The first thing you want to do is kind of tuck your armatures around to the backside. Now, to be fair, in robot mode, you can have this look as well and kind of keep them out of the way. We then want to do the feet and bring these down. Now, I guess that can act as an ankle tilt as well, to be fair. But once again, it's more of a toe. And just bring them down and around with the clowns from out of town. Then you can slide these pieces down towards the foot. Spin at the thigh swivel 180 degrees on both sides. Undo this little clip. Collapse the leg and connect the clip once again into this slot. Now for the arms. Rotate at the bicep 180 degrees, then rotate the hand 180 degrees. Bend at the elbow so that this tab plugs in to the slot underneath, which there. Then you can rotate the entire arm up towards the head. Release the tire tread or the tank treads. You want to bring them around. As you do, you want to open up, let's see, this piece here. No, what piece is it? This piece. And collapse it all back down. It's a funny shaped little armature that is on, so it takes a little bit of finagling. And then sort of just connect everything together as you know, it'll be relatively intuitive. We'll do that one more time. So 180 degrees at the bicep, 180 degrees at the hand. Bend at the elbow so that the forearm plugs into the shoulder. Then use pressure on the hand to flip the entire flap up towards the tank track. Then separate the two components of the tank track, and you want to rotate this 180. As you do, the piece that comes towards the elbow, flip up 90 degrees, then collapse it all back down and just snap everything into place. On the underside, now move your armatures to the opposite end, and we'll clean that up later. You'll have to rotate again at the ball peg. Bring up your missile launcher like we talked about, and that can go up, and then there's a secondary hinge that's really tight that'll allow the missile launcher to kind of encompass the head. Then you had to open up these tracks and turn them, and then they'll plug back in with these holes in the underside of the track into the underside of the kind of collarbone area. And then just push everything together and it just sort of lays together. I'll get it cleaned up, we'll take a look at it. And there it is. And I think it's suggestive enough. You know, a lot of these alt modes, even in the comic and stuff, they're kind of suggestive. So I think that this does a pretty good job of it, especially in this scale. You have the little cannons here. My feet have a hard time getting, I might not have it 100% right, but yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It's a decent size. The armatures still have some character and you can mess around with those a good bit. The missile pods, the little kind of, you know, grinder looks good. I think it's really well done. I wish that this kind of stuck together, like the shoulders stuck together into the thighs or into the calves, because that's the only part that doesn't sit 100% tight with this. But overall, I think it's a decent enough representation. And I think if you had them all in alt mode, you wouldn't notice kind of any of the little lack of perfection, you know, solidity elements of this one specifically. Tiger Tracks. Final thoughts wise, let me start with the negatives, and they mainly are, once again, the tolerances. Iron Factory always has really tight tolerances. This one is no exception, and hopefully over time it will loosen up for those that have this figure. My only other complaint with this figure is I wish the tracks attached to the body of the bot in tank mode or grinder mode a bit better. And it could be possible that I don't have something quite lined up right. That's always possible. But in just messing with it briefly, I don't see where the connection would be unless I've really fouled up the transformation. There are some articulation issues, but like I said before, I kind of find them more forgiving in a character with this sort of bulky design. Plenty of positives though. The sculpt is absolutely fantastic. The paint is absolutely fantastic. I think the articulation is more than enough for this size figure, especially with this sort of design. Has a strong presence, especially for the scale, due to its size. The alt mode, once you get it kind of positioned, looks great. And I enjoy the playability factor with all the armatures and stuff. Like I had a fun time putting Blaster in the claws and so forth. So I think it's really well done. It's a strong recommend for me, as are most Iron Factory things. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.